Be your sister's backup or lose the internship, my dad said. I refused calmly, documented everything, and sent HR a timeline. A week later, an anonymous tip triggered an audit, and the family favor became evidence. Now there's a meeting with legal and not for me. My dad, Mark Turner, treats our last name like a brand. Golf shirt logos, Christmas cards designed like annual reports, Facebook albums captioned, Turner Values, Q3 highlights. Mom, Linda, is the soft wrapper around his hard script. Apologizes for the tone, enforces the message. My sister, Emily, is the product launch. Blonde blowout, ring light, leadership coaching, and a whiteboard full of arrows. I'm Dylan, 21, computer science junior at UT Austin, commuting in a dented Civic with a squeaky serpentine belt, interning at a mid-sized SaaS firm where my badge actually reads, intern, not Emily's brother. Public jabs are normal. At our July barbecue, 75 people, Bluetooth speaker stuck on corporate motivation playlists. Emily took the patio mic to thank the team. I was on cooler duty. She waved at me like a stagehand and said, "Shout out to Dylan, who carries boxes so the real work gets done. We're still waiting on him to earn a real badge." Laughter, phones out. I smiled like it didn't nick bone. After dessert, Dad clinked his tumbler and pulled me into his office, the one with the framed article about Brand Turner from a Chamber of Commerce newsletter. He shut the door, leaned on the desk like a judge, and said, "You're backstopping Emily's keynote at the hotel on the 18th. Slides, demo, AV, you in a blazer. Or I make one call and your internship is gone by Monday." He added, "Family first. Optics matter." I kept my voice level. "I'm not a prop." His jaw twitched. "Don't be dramatic. It's a microphone and a smile." "I'm still not a prop." I walked out, took a hallway selfie with the thermostat behind me at 68 degrees Fahrenheit and the time showing 9:47 p.m. in the Nest app, then sat in my car and opened notes. If their power is optics, mine is a timeline of facts. I created a doc titled Golden Image Log. First entry, July 6th, 9:47 p.m. Dad, one call, threat. Ultimatum hotel keynote. I attached a photo of the stationer's card on his desk reading Turner Holdings, because details convince even me that I'm not imagining it. At home, I screen capped every group text where I was CC'd as Dill, for errands. Pick up pastries. Book the ballroom projector under your student discount. Bring Emily's ring light. Don't scratch it. I exported my internship offer letter, DocuSign timestamp June 3rd, 2:12 p.m., my onboarding email thread with HR, and my badge pickup receipt from the lobby kiosk. Because receipts matter when a one-call threat floats over your head like a weather balloon. I saved the audio from the barbecue livestream where Emily did the real badge joke. Mom's voice on the side saying, "It's cute. The laugh is the part that burns." The next morning, I texted Emily, "I won't be working your event." She sent a single then, "Don't sabotage me." I replied, "I won't attend. That's not sabotage." She posted a boomerang of coffee foam hearts captioned "Energy, excuses." Then DM'd me a Canva slide template and a Dropbox link anyway. At 10:31 a.m., Dad called. Declined. He texted, 3 hours to be reasonable. I put the countdown in the log. I'm not a martyr. I'm a developer. I think in systems and permissions. At lunch I opened Google Drive and moved every file I'd ever helped Emily with, draft scripts, lead magnets, email automations, into a new folder titled, Created by Dylan, Non-Work for Hire. I added a README noting dates and authorship. I'm not litigious, just tired of being told what's yours is mine, when the paper trail says otherwise. On my break, I ordered a $19 pocket notebook and a Pilot G2 because my manager, Alicia, the kind of cynic, says, if it's not written, it's fiction. 3 hours passed. Dad sent, decision. I wrote, no, he fired back. Then no internship. I replied with the HR contact card and said, they'll need it in writing. I flagged the thread, saved the V-card, and emailed myself the iMessage transcript as a PDF. I also messaged Alicia, heads up, Family pressure appearance at sister's event. She replied in 5 minutes with a company policy excerpt on outside engagements and coercion. Plus, we've got you. I added that to the log under counterweights. At dinner, Mom plated salmon and said, "You know how your dad gets before a big thing?" I said, "I know how he gets when he thinks he owns me." She whispered, "Please don't make this a scene." I said, "That ship sailed at the barbecue." That night I packed a go bag, laptop, charger, birth certificate folder, the USB with my capstone code, a spare hoodie, and slid it under my bed. I took photos of the serial numbers on my PS5 and my Fluke multimeter, uploaded them to the log. I set calendar reminders, 18th, Emily's keynote, and 24th, HR check-in. I'm not running. I'm documenting. If their altar is the golden image of Brand Turner, then my rebellion is a timestamp, a receipt, and a refusal to smile on cue. By Monday 8:12 a.m., the timeline has folders, posts, emails, calls, calendar, receipts. I add a rule. Everything gets a timestamp and a source. If I can't tag it, it's gossip. I brew drip coffee, open Slack, and there it is, Emily DMing a channel she shouldn't be in. She writes in #guest access, "Looping in Dad. Can we badge Dylan into the executive floor this Thursday? He'll escort me. He knows the hall plan." She tags facilities. She calls me our errand kid. The channel is internal. 27 eyeballs. I screen capture with message links and hover tooltips, then export the thread as a TXT. HR replies with a careful paste of policy. External parties must sign visitor NDAs. Non-employees cannot be badged in outside events. The tone is polite. The pressure from above is a watermark. At 9:03, my manager Alicia pings me. "Did you promise any event support? Mentor is asking." I reply with one sentence, "No, and I've declined family involvement." I attach Dad's one-call text as context. Alicia drops in HR's liaison, Kendra, who replies with a ticket number, HR 7412. I paste that into counterweights. I add my internship mentor's email subject line, alignment concern outside work, and file it under narrative versus paper. On LinkedIn, Dad posts a photo from the 4th. Me lifting a Yeti cooler, Emily midlaugh. Caption, "Family win incoming. Little one supporting big sis on stage, as it should be." 3 of his vendor partners comment with bicep emojis. I grab a full-page PDF, including the comment IDs and the time code, 9:27 a.m. 10 minutes later, my mentor forwards the post and asks, "Is this accurate? You need written approval for any deliverables." I answer with our policy excerpt and, "I have not agreed." I CC HR. No adjectives, just the page number. At 11:40, I book a small conference room named Rio Grande. I plug in a USB mic and hit voice memos. Dad's partner, Jake Collins, the one who always introduces himself as Deal Origination, strolls in because the door's glass and he sees me. "Dill, quick idea. Everyone wins if Emily reaches our client using your badge. She gets credibility, you get FaceTime. You can borrow an exec lanyard. We'll make it right." I say, "I can't badge anyone. That's a policy violation." He says, "Let us worry about policy." I repeat, "I won't." The audio is clear enough to hear his watch tap the glass table. After he leaves, I open Expensify and search Turner. 2 hits on our corporate card ending 9113. Emily's receptions coded as education. One is a $842.19 hotel ballroom workshop refreshment 2 weeks before her keynote. Another is $119.88 for lead magnet printing. Both lack attendees or project codes. Emily isn't an employee. I export the report, highlight the merchant codes, and attach our policy PDF that uses the phrase, "personal branding prohibited." I send it to Kendra with a neutral subject, "potential miscoding." I don't accuse, I tag. At lunch, Mom texts, "Please be supportive of your sister this week." I reply, I am being supportive. I'm keeping my job clean. She sends a sigh emoji. Dad texts, meet me 5 p.m. at Turner Holdings. I send, communicate in writing. He replies with a thumbs up and nothing else. I move the message to pressure. At 2:06, Emily posts an Instagram story. A boomerang at a co-working space, captioned rehearsing with my fave engineer. Tag at Dylan.Turner with a winky face. I screenshot, then tap report, false information. So the platform prompts me to confirm impersonation. She's gaming optics while I'm in sprint planning discussing API rate limits. At 2:19, Alicia messages, I'll escalate the tag misuse. Stay focused. I book a 15-minute HR slot. Kendra listens, asks clarifiers, then reads from a template. Outside coercion to perform work is not permitted. If threats to employment are made, we will request formal documentation from the party. She asks if I consent to her emailing Dad directly. Yes, I say. This correspondence may be used in a formal investigation. She nods and types. At 3:52, Jake emails me a friendly reminder that families are teams and suggests I show up like a man. I add it to the log. Words like man and team are camouflage. The core is access. At 4:30, security emails the hashtag guest access thread, linking the visitor policy with a bright yellow banner. Violations may result in badge revocation. I add it to guardrails. At 5:11, a calendar invite arrives. Turner Family Sync, mandatory. Organizer, Mom. Location, their house. I decline with a single line. I won't attend unscheduled meetings without agenda. Dad replies, agenda, loyalty. I paste it into the timeline and write, not a business unit. Before I log off, I print the day's packet, 42 pages, hole punch, and slide it into a blue binder labeled 07-08. The first proofs aren't angry. They're boring. That's the point. When the story tries to sprint, paper makes it walk. I set the binder on my desk, photograph it next to the Fluke multimeter and the dented Civic key, and email the image to myself. If they want a golden image, here's mine. A binder, a timestamp, and the word, no. Rainy Street, Thursday, 6:02 p.m. Converted brick loft above a mezcal bar. Edison bulbs. Step and repeat with sponsor logos I don't recognize. The air smells like citrus and ambition. 200 folding chairs. A rented stage, acrylic lectern, uplights set to Turner blue. A clipboard volunteer hands me cue cards labeled Intro Remarks, 60 seconds. My name is printed under Brother. I slide the cards into my jacket pocket and feel the USB drive press against my phone. I titled it rainy_packet_18.pdf and mirrored it to a cloud link with view-only permissions. Chain of custody before courage. Emily paces backstage in heels, practicing her leadership is a verb line. Dad works the room in a navy blazer, hand on shoulders, so proud. His partner Jake Collins high-fives a sponsor rep in a quarter zip. Mom holds 2 water bottles like peace offerings. I stand near the AV rack and watch the timer roll down from 10 o'clock. The MC, a podcast guy with hair product and a warm laugh, says, quick housekeeping. Bathrooms left, bar right, phones on silent but content welcome. Translation, make us trend. At 6:15, the MC calls me, our favorite little brother who makes it happen. The crowd claps. I step up, adjust the gooseneck mic down an inch, and open a folded sheet from my pocket. Not the cue cards. My hands don't shake. I read. Timeline summary prepared today. July 6th, 9:47 p.m. Threat to my employment to compel participation in this event. July 8th, 8:12 a.m. Slack request to badge a non-employee into executive floors. Language, our errand kid. Policy cited by HR. I pause only to breathe. July 8th, 11:40 a.m. Recorded conversation with Mr. Collins proposing misuse of my badge. Exact words. Let us worry about policy. July 8th, afternoon, 2 corporate card charges coded education. For this event by a non-employee. Missing project codes. No adjectives. Just nouns, verbs, timestamps. A murmur builds like AC kicking on. Dad's smile becomes geometry. Emily steps into the light and hisses, "That's edited." I nod. Yes, edited for relevance. Full packet is available. I hold up the USB in a small Ziploc with a white label, Rainy Street, Evidence Copy A. I set it on the lectern. Cloud link emailed to the organizer and sponsors at 6:10 p.m. read-only. Download logged. I click the lectern laptop and the screen shows a single slide. A list of file names with dates. Dry as dust, and that's the point. A sponsor rep in a blazer with a lapel pin raises his hand, breaking the vibe. "We'd like to see those materials." The MC blinks. Emily says, "This is sabotage. Family matters aren't content." I keep my voice level. This concerns brand claims, access, and charges to an employer I'm responsible to. I won't participate. I step back from the mic, unplug my laptop cable, and zip the pouch. The room goes silent the precise way it does when everyone lifts phones at once. Blue screens bloom like jellyfish. Security drifts toward the stage, confused about which way is up. Mom mouths my name. Dad starts toward the lectern, changes his mind, and thumbs his phone with surgical intensity. The MC confers with the producer in the wings, then returns to the mic. "We're going to pause this portion pending clarification with our partners." He smiles the way people do during a fire drill. I walk to the AV table and hand the tech a second Ziploc. "Copy B." He scans the label. It includes today's date and the time I sealed it, 5:52 p.m., and nods. "We log everything," he says. "Same." I take a photo of his intake clipboard. Chain of custody is a duet. In the corridor, Jake corners me. "You just lit your career on fire." I hold my phone at chest level, voice memos open. "I'm reporting conflict of interest and unauthorized brand use." I say, "If you want a quote, that's my quote." He looks at the red recording bar and decides to be somewhere else. I step into the stairwell, sit, and email 3 things from my phone. The cloud link to the event sponsor addresses listed on the banner. The packet to my company's HR alias with subject line "Internal Report," potential conflict and misuse of credentials. And a short note to Alicia. Submitted materials. No engagement on stage. Chain of custody preserved. I attach the photo of the Ziploc labels, the room sign "Green Room," Turner Presents, and the timer screenshot. I also include the line, "No heat. Factual." Back on campus by 7:21. I badge into the lab and upload rainy_packet_18.pdf to an internal incident folder with Kendra's ticket number. I add a 1-paragraph summary: who, what, where, when, why, how. I mark it FYI and request no immediate action until sponsors respond. Then I print one more copy, staple it, and write in blue ink on the cover, "Presented publicly. Sources numbered. Originals retained." The printer hum sounds like a bass line. I drop the stapled packet into the blue binder, 07-18 tab, and lock the drawer. My phone buzzes non-stop. Emily's Insta story shrieking, "Betrayal." Dad's text, "You are done." I write one reply, "Per HR. Please send any employment decisions in writing to HR 7412. Then I silence everything, open my IDE, and write code for 20 quiet minutes. Boundaries are a function. Paperwork is a test harness. Tonight, both run without errors. Monday, 9:12 a.m. HR email lands with the subject "Vendor and Events Audit Initiated." HR 7412 plus compliance, 228. First line, "We received an anonymous tip. A vendor and events audit is underway." I paste it into the binder index and flag the words "anonymous tip" in yellow. 2 minutes later, Kendra forwards legal's intake template and asks for my original files, hashes included. I reply with the SHA 256-4, rainy_packet_18.pdf, the voice memos at M4A checksum, and the Ziploc photos. Chain of custody remains boring, which is how you survive storms. By 11:03, the loft clip surfaces on a startup gossip account. Title, Brother reads a timeline and stalls the showcase. The angle is from the left aisle. You can see the acrylic lectern and my labeled bag. Within an hour it passes 48,000 views, comments filling with sponsor handles. At Mesa Capital, our marketing team is reviewing. At Pertoli HR, please DM a contact for records. At Kestrel Bank, pausing promo until clarification. I don't engage. I screenshot, add the URL, timestamp it, and write a single line in the log. Public distribution widens the audience for receipts. Do not reply. At 12:26, the partner's legal team emails my company's counsel requesting an official channel to exchange files. I'm CC'd on the reply. A secure SharePoint with external keys. Logging enabled. Link expiration set to 48 hours. I drop copy C, read only, then export a manifest listing file names, sizes, hashes, and the sentence. No originals leave my possession without duplicate and receipt. The partner counsel thanks me for professionalism and asks for the audio. I send the 11:40 a.m. conversation with Collins. 10 minutes later they reply, we confirm voice matches. Dry. Perfect. At 2:08, Emily attempts a counterpunch. A mass email from hello@emilystudio.com with a PDF called Family Context. She calls me unstable and obsessed with documentation, suggests prior academic setbacks, tags me for male fragility. I won't argue adjectives. I strip the PDF's metadata instead. Author equals assistant at emilystudio.com. Creator equals Canva. Created equals July 25th, 8:02. Modified equals July 25th, 8:06. Producer equals Canva PDF generator. Trapped equals false. Fonts. Montserrat. Laura. I add the EXIF-like readout to the chain, attach the raw file, and note that her assistant is not a clinician diagnosing anyone. I forward the package to HR with the line, smear circulated to work contacts. Please add to HR 7412. At 3:31, Kendra confirms first proofs from the audit. 2 educational charges are private parties. $1,274.50, Rainy Afterglow, hosted bar. No attendee list. $387.40, Balloon Arch. Merchant categorized party supplies. Both coded under our corporate card by name, Turner. Emily, who is not an employee. Compliance adds a red banner. Personal branding expenditures. Hold. At 4:05, the partner freezes Emily's project, pending resolution. I screen cap the freeze notice, ref, partner, hold, 19, and tuck it behind the 07-25 tab. The air around me feels thinner and cleaner. Dad calls at 4:22. I let it go to voicemail. He leaves 2 messages. In the first he growls, undo this, Dylan, or I make 5 calls and you're blacklisted. In the second he softens, you embarrassed your sister, apologize tonight. I save the .amr files, transcribe them, and file under pressure voicemail. Mom texts at 4:37, please, family peace. 2 praying hands emojis. I reply, I will not discuss active audits outside counsel. She writes, who taught you to talk like a lawyer? I type, people who wrote the policies you like to quote. At 5:12, calendar invite, legal intake, external pressure on intern. Attendees, CLO, Marisol Vega, Kendra, HR, Security R, Patel. Me. Location Teams. Description. To discuss actions by outside parties exerting pressure on an intern. To preserve company access controls. To outline retaliation safeguards. The sentence that matters isn't about me. It's about them. I accept. I print the invite and highlight outside parties neon green. We meet at 5:30. They appear in crisp rectangles. Marisol speaks first. Dylan, thank you for precision. This is not a conduct review of you. This is an intake about external actors. She outlines next steps. Preserve my badge, route all family contacts to HR, draft a cease and desist citing access and brand confusion, and prepare, if necessary, an affidavit describing pressure attempts. She asks if I'm safe at home. Yes, I say. Go bag ready. Locks unchanged. She nods. Good. Document any approach. After the call, I open the window for air. Write the day's summary longhand in the pocket notebook. Dates, amounts, file names, invite text. Then photograph the page and staple a printout behind 07-25. My phone buzzes. Emily again. Subject, final chance. I archive it unread. I ping Alicia. Legal framed it correctly. She replies, I told you. Keep it boring. We'll keep it safe. Anonymous tip or not, I didn't light the match. I labeled the boxes. Now the labels are doing the moving. The audit stops being theoretical on a Wednesday at 9:01 a.m. when compliance adds compliance, 241 to my HR ticket and pings legal. First attachment. An email from Emily to my company's office manager. Subject, VIP flow tonight. Instructing them to wave in our VIPs. No registration. They're with me. She CC'd Jake Collins and used my name as on-site point. The office manager replied, registration is required. Emily sent back a thumbs-up emoji. I print the thread, circle the phrase no registration, and file it under access attempts. By noon, more fines land like clock chimes. A studio rental invoice, $2, $6.40. Coded to an education fund line item created 3 months ago. The contact name is my coworker's vendor alias. The bill to is Turner Holdings, but the deliver to is Emily Studio, Rainey. The purchase order lacks approvals. Legal highlights it in yellow and writes, personal branding expense misclassified. I slide it under 07-29 with a sticky note, fund shell. The audit isn't a flood. It's a drip that stains drywall. Security adds a memo from Collins. A nudge asking if anyone can help grant Emily temporary data access to our CRM so she can pull a few case studies. He writes, Dylan can stand in if you need. He's careful with verbs. The intent is plain. I add the memo to the packet along with our data policy excerpt and the line, no temporary access without training plus NDA. My title, Attempted Lateral Entry. At 2:40, legal forwards the compiled materials to an external compliance firm. I'm only CC'd on the cover letter. We are engaging you for a limited scope review of vendor events and access controls. I save the PDF, note the date, and stop refreshing. I walk to the patio, breathe Austin heat, and think about how paper, real paper, changes the temperature of a room. At 3:18, Alicia messages. You've been extended through December. New assignment, data security project with R. Patel, ref actor badge alerting. She adds a smiley I can handle. I reply, accepted, and screenshot the offer addendum. DocuSign 0729 3:21 p.m. I text mom a simple line. My internship is extended. She sends back, proud of you. Then, can you help your sister now that this is over? I put the first message under support, the second under pattern. Dad doesn't go quietly. At 4:07, a mass email from his new burner mark.truth@proton. Hits a list of partners and my HR alias. Subject, expose, files stolen by intern. The body includes 8 screenshots of my cloud folders and a red circle around Rainey packet PDF. He calls me disgruntled and says I exfiltrated proprietary content. I open the admin console on my laptop and pull the access logs. Each screenshot's IP traces to Emily's apartment subnet, ISP, timestamp. Even the MAC mask pattern matches her router from a past airdrop. My folders are private. The images are hers of my emailed packet to sponsors, the very link they requested. I send the log bundle to legal with one sentence. Claim disproven by IP evidence. See Appendix B. At 4:33, Corporate Communications posts a brief update on the internal bulletin. Claims against the intern are false. Action has been taken against external parties who pressured staff and sought unauthorized access. We thank employees for maintaining documentation. 3 lines, no names. It's the most beautiful prose I've read. In Slack, 3 engineers add receipt emojis to my last commit. Alicia DMs, told you, Keep it boring. I reply with a receipt emoji and go back to my code. By 5:10, attorneys loop me into a draft letter. Subject: notice of claims, defamation, and tortious interference. It cites statements by Turner, Emily, and Turner, Mark, lists the anonymous smear email, the family context PDF, the burner expose, and the threats. It requests retraction and preservation of all devices. I'm asked to confirm dates and attach originals. I add hashes and a short sworn declaration. The attached screenshots and audio are true and correct to the best of my knowledge. I sign with my neatest version of my name and upload. The partner network moves fast when liability is involved. Emily is barred from events, pending further notice. Her startup partners post bland PR. Under review. The co-working space removes her reserved signage. Sponsors wipe the rainy logo grid from their feeds. Collins goes quiet for the first time since this began. Dad calls twice. I let both hit voicemail, then forward them to the legal alias labeled retaliation attempts. Voicemail July 29th. The show feels over, not with applause but with procedures. HR schedules my weekly check-in. Security sets up a tripwire for any badge attempts in my name. Comms drafts a one-pager to vendors on access etiquette. I log off at 6:02, label the day's binder tab 07-29, and place it on the shelf. My room is quieter than any victory speech. There's no triumph montage, no gotcha. Just me, a blue binder, and a civic key that still sticks at half-turn. Boundaries held. Paper 1. Months pass. The chatter thins. Emily's grid goes dim. Last post archived. Highlights stripped to workshop tips with blank covers. Dad's Saturday foursome becomes a twosome. The pro shop stops, saving our name on a placard. I'm still in Austin. Still in the dented Civic. But the serpentine belt stopped squealing after I tightened it with the borrowed 14mm. The blue binders line my shelf like comm soldiers. I don't open them. I like knowing they exist. In September, the university dean emails at 8:11 a.m. Compliance and Integrity Scholarship, 1 year. I read it twice. It cites documentation discipline and service to institutional standards. I forward it to Alicia. She replies, obvious. I print the award letter, hole punch, and slide it behind 09-12. The amount is specific, $7, $500, disbursed by term. I mark a budget in my notebook. Rent, textbooks, a better chair for my back. Mom texts a heart. Dad sends nothing. I tighten my world the way you tighten a script. Fewer scenes, clearer beats. Weekly walks around Lady Bird Lake with noise canceling off. Saturday mornings at the lab with R. Patel, building the badge anomaly detector we joked into existence. Thresholds, alerts, a grid of good weird versus bad weird. My room holds fewer objects that belong to other people. The fluke multimeter stays. Emily's ring light is gone, returned by certified mail. Receipt stapled behind 08-02. Then Tyler finds me. He's 7, all elbows and sincerity, and his texts are dictated. Uncle Dylan, this is Tyler, can you help with mommy's medicine? We can't find the card. It lands on a Tuesday at 6:44 p.m. I stare at the bubble a long time before I answer. Yes, we will make sure you have what you need. I will not wire cash into the Turner swirl. I will not hand my reputation back for a hug. I meet with a trust officer at a credit union on Lamar, 2:30 p.m. Fluorescent lighting, the smell of carpet cleaner. We set up a small healthcare grantor trust with me as grantor and the credit union as trustee. Beneficiary Tyler James, redacted. Minor, purpose clause narrow. Prescription costs at contracted pharmacies. No cash disbursements. No adult reimbursements. Maximum monthly disbursement, $180. Funding, initial $900, then $180 on the first of each month for 6 months. I upload Tyler's RX list from the pediatrician's portal. Mom consents via form. I route through the clinic, not family group text. Disbursement goes directly to the pharmacy network, Caremark and HEB, not to my sister. I add a note. No communications with non-beneficiary adults required. The trustee nods like he sees this pattern weekly. I text Emily and Mom a single line at 5:12 p.m. Pharmacy has a direct pay on file for Tyler's prescriptions. Use the normal pickup process. Emily replies nothing. Mom sends, "Thank you." Tyler follows with a photo of a robot he drew holding a pill bottle. I print it on cheap paper and slide it behind 10-03 with the trustee letter. That pocket of help feels different. Tight perimeter, clean channel, no stage lights. Work moves forward. The badge detector flags a test event at 2:13 on a Sunday. Our alerting works. Patel high-fives the air. I learned to love boring emails. Action resolved. No further input required. The dean asks me to do a Q&A for freshmen on documentation as self-defense. I say yes with one condition. No family anecdotes. I show them the bones instead, timestamps, naming, chain of custody. A kid in a hoodie asks, "Doesn't that make you paranoid?" I say, "It makes me calm." Dad calls twice between Thanksgiving and finals. I let both go. He finally writes, "I miss my son." My reply is a boundary, not a poem. I'm available for lunch in public spaces. No business topics. No pressure to make it right. If that works, name a time. He doesn't. The silence is sharp the first week, then soft. Quiet sticks if you respect it. Emily resurfaces once, indirectly. A LinkedIn open to work ribbon and a workshop with a different last name. I don't click. The partner consortium never published names. The civil claim sits in a folder labeled pending. Hold for strategy. I don't want a courtroom selfie. I want good sleep and honest code reviews. I want Tyler's robot drawings and to never be anyone's prop again. On New Year's Day at 9 a.m., I inventory the binders. I tape a small card inside the cover of the first. Rule of thumb. Facts before feelings. Channels before confrontation. I don't pretend this is noble. It's maintenance. It's changing the oil before the engine seizes. If there's a moral, it's not the Hollywood one. I didn't rehabilitate Brand Turner. I leveled the field, circled my name, and wrote terms. The ultimatum, be your sister's backup or lose the internship, flipped into a Teams tile where legal discussed outside parties. The empire wasn't mine to topple. It dissolved under its own weight once someone took the mic and read the dates. Calm isn't weakness. Calm is a tool, a file format, a checksum. My life now fits in fewer folders, but the edges are mine. Sometimes I open the window, hear traffic, and think, this is what a life sounds like when it isn't playing someone else's brand jingle. Then I make coffee, answer Tyler's emoji barrage, and get back to the work that stays done.